Good morning. You're listening to The Brief Wake Up, your mindful start to the day. I'm Handel, your daily coffee companion, helping you wake up informed, thoughtful, and maybe just a little amused before the day gets old. If you're commuting, corralling kids, or just standing in line for caffeine, you're in the right place. Let's get you caught up. Let's start with what should be the most important, our health. The rise of colon cancer in young adults. And today we're zeroing in on a worrying trend. Colorectal cancer is no longer just a disease of older adults. It's increasingly affecting people in their 30s and 40s, sometimes even younger. Why? For years, we pointed to diet, obesity, sedentary habits, and those still matter. But new research is showing a possible early life microbial link, and it's changing the conversation. Let's talk about colobactin. Colobactin is a toxin produced by certain strains of the gut bacterium Escherichia coli. Scientists found that this toxin leaves a distinct fingerprint of DNA damage in colon cells. A major study analyzed 981 colorectal tumor genomes from 11 countries and discovered that the mutational signature tied to colobactin was 3.3 times more common in cancers discovered before age 40 than in those discovered after age 70. What's especially striking, the DNA damage tied to colobactin appears to happen very early, possibly in childhood, even before age 10. So, the picture that's emerging, exposure to colobactin-producing bacteria early in life, may set the stage for cancer decades later. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean colobactin alone causes cancer. Many people harbor colobactin-producing E. coli strains and never develop cancer. What it highlights is how an early microbial exposure, in combination with lifestyle, genetics, environment, may accelerate risk. So, what does this mean for you and the younger generation? If you're under 50, don't dismiss symptoms. Persistent abdominal pain, changes in bowel habits or blood in stool, get them evaluated, even if you think you're too young for colon cancer. While microbial exposures are harder to control directly today, keep focusing on the controllables, such as a high-fiber diet, reduced processed meat, regular exercise, limiting alcohol and smoking. These choices still matter. And be aware of screening. Guidelines have shifted in many places to begin around age 45 for average risk. If you have a family history or other risk factors, talk to your doctor about potentially earlier screening. In short, the rise of colorectal cancer among younger adults is not just a result of bad luck or aging. It's likely driven by a convergence of factors, and now we're seeing that our gut bacteria and what we're exposed to in early life might be part of that equation. When it comes to colon cancer, stay alert, stay proactive, and remember, prevention starts way before the diagnosis. And for the news, the big beautiful bill and who gets the loans. This morning, let's talk about the big beautiful bill and its new education reform package that's reshaping how Americans can borrow for graduate and professional school. On paper, the goal is simple: rein in runaway student debt. But for many aspiring professionals, especially in medicine, law, and nursing, it's creating a whole new layer of anxiety. Here's the headline. Starting July 1st, 2026, the bill ends the Grad Plus loan program, which currently lets grad students borrow up to the full cost of attendance. In its place come strict federal loan caps. Graduate programs will be limited to about $20,500 a year, with a lifetime max of $100,000. Professional degrees, like medicine or law, get a higher ceiling, $50,000 a year, capped at $200,000 total. Now, here's where it gets controversial. Only certain fields are officially defined as professional. That includes medicine, MD, and DO, dentistry, veterinary medicine, optometry, pharmacy, law, podiatry, chiropractic, theology, and clinical psychology. But here's who's left out: advanced nursing degrees, including nurse practitioners, certified registered nurse anesthetist, and Doctor of Nursing practice degrees. Also excluded are physician assistants, physical therapists, social workers, educators, and most allied health professions. So, while future medical doctors and lawyers may still have access to higher borrowing limits, the very nurses and healthcare professionals who keep hospitals running may find themselves cut off from the same level of support. Universities and advocacy groups are already warning that the bill could shrink access to key health programs, especially for lower income and minority students. Others say the limits are overdue, given that graduate debt now averages more than $180,000 and often climbs higher in medicine and law. But maybe there's a middle path, one that doesn't just cap debt, but redirects opportunity. If Congress truly wants to balance the books and strengthen the workforce, why not shift more federal funding and loan forgiveness toward rural and underserved practice tracks? Imagine tying larger loan availability or faster forgiveness to those who serve in the exact communities that lack access, such as rural clinics, mental health, and critical care gaps. That would turn this bill from a blunt instrument into a precision tool, one that not only controls costs, but invests in where care is needed most. Because limiting who can learn doesn't fix healthcare. Empowering where they serve might. Time for the big sip. The power of giving time. This morning, let's talk about something that rarely makes the headlines, but changes lives quietly every single day. Volunteer work. It's easy to think change requires money, influence, or a platform. But in truth, some of the most transformative acts come from people who simply show up. Whether it's mentoring a student, serving food at a shelter, coaching a kids team, or helping a neighbor, volunteering is how ordinary people build extraordinary communities. And here's the thing, it's not just about helping others. Study after study shows that volunteering rewires us. It boosts mood, lowers stress, even strengthens the immune system. Psychologists call it the helper's high. That rush when giving activates the same pleasure centers in the brain that light up for music or laughter. But beyond biology, there's something deeper, a sense of meaning that can't be bought or taught. In a world overflowing with noise, giving your time is a radical act of presence. You're saying, I see you and you matter. Think of a community like the human body. Every act of kindness is a blood vessel, carrying oxygen to tissue that might otherwise wither. When we volunteer, we keep the system alive. We become the pulse that nourishes it, and those pulses ripple outward. The student you mentor grows into someone who mentors others. The meal you serve reminds someone they're still seen. The kindness you give becomes the kindness someone else passes on, like waves expanding from a single drop. 1 hour of your time can move through families, neighborhoods, generations. Medicine has its ripples too. A surgeon's mission, a nurse's clinic, a neighbor learning CPR. Each one touches more lives than they'll ever know. So, here's the sip to carry with you today. The world doesn't just need more leaders, it needs more givers. Because every heartbeat of compassion creates a ripple, and together those ripples keep the world alive. What's available for the lighter roast? Dinner at the bar. Alright, let's talk about one of the most underrated dating moves out there. Eating at the bar. Not the loud sports bar where everyone's yelling about fantasy football I mean that sleek little stretch of counter inside a nice restaurant, where the lighting is flattering, the bartender's friendly, and the chairs spin just enough to feel dangerous. See, dinner at the table feels like a job interview with breadsticks. You're sitting across from each other, posture perfect, answering questions like, "So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" At the bar, though, you're side by side, not face to face. There's no interrogation lamp, just good banter and shared fries. It's relaxed, it's social, it's strategic. You can flirt with your posture, talk to the bartender for breathing room, and let's be honest, if the date goes south, you can close your tab and vanish before the entrees even hit the pass. And here's the best part. If you're not on a date, the bar might become one, because it's the perfect accidental meet cute zone. Two solo diners, one empty seat, and suddenly you're debating the right way to eat calamari like it's destiny. It's efficient, it's low pressure, and the lighting's already doing half the flirting for you. So next time you're heading out, skip the white tablecloths, grab a bar stool, order something shareable, and see what the universe serves up. Because whether it's a great meal or a meet cute waiting to happen, the best seat in the house is usually the one next to the olives, and maybe your future plus one. And lastly, our commemorations for November 24th. This morning, let's rewind the clock about 166 years. On this day in 1859, a quiet English naturalist named Charles Darwin dropped a literary bombshell on the origin of species. The idea was radical. Life evolves, species adapt, and survival doesn't go to the strongest or the smartest, it goes to whoever adapts best. That's right, today is Evolution Day, a reminder that progress isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. In your career, your relationships, even your morning routine, adaptation is everything. We evolve or we evaporate. Now, speaking of unique adaptations, today is also Celebrate Your Unique Talent Day. That's your cue to bring out the skill no one saw coming. Maybe you can whistle through your teeth, juggle spreadsheets and espresso shots, or calm a toddler and a trauma patient at the same time. Whatever it is, show it off. Because evolution favors originality. And today the world could use a little less conformity and a lot more creative DNA. And finally, if all that introspection made you hungry, grab a tin opener. It's National Sardines Day. Those tiny fish have survived for millennia by traveling in schools. A nice evolutionary metaphor. So, whether you're flying solo or swimming with the crowd, remember even the smallest creatures can make a big impact, especially when they pack themselves with omega-3s. Here's to Darwin, your quirks, and the humble sardine. A trio reminding us that life is all about evolving, embracing, and occasionally eating something a little weird. The brief wake up today ranged from microbes that leave fingerprints in our DNA to lawmakers rewriting the rules of education. Today reminded us that evolution isn't just biological, it's social, political, and personal. Whether we're adapting to new science, rethinking how we fund the future, or finding purpose through service, progress still comes down to how we grow together. So, keep evolving, keep giving, and maybe tonight grab that bar seat and see what the universe has in mind. I'm Handel. Be curious, be kind, and top off that cup. Till next time.